When the world needed them most, they returned. Welcome to the F1 podcast with me, Ajax, and Sorghum, where today we are doing a review of the very took place long ago Hungarian Grand Prix.
Hello, Hungary. Almost feels like yesterday,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, it was yesterday, right? That was the
Yeah, of
Grand
course.
Prix. It was so recent.
Yeah, it's definitely not 19th of August. Yeah. Okay, so we had this Grand Prix before the summer break, and we are ready to do a review on it. So let's do it right now. Uh, do you still remember the Grand Prix? Just briefly.
Yes, yes, I do. Luckily, there's a reason I do.
Yep.
Um,
Unluckily for me, it is a reason as well. Yeah, we'll get to that. I was traumatized by this Grand Prix, and it was the last one before the summer break. So,
oh yeah, you
yeah,
were.
yeah, we'll talk about it, right? Okay, so it wasn't a sprint, right? It was a regular
No,
Grand Prix.
no sprint this weekend. Regular Grand Prix. I
Yeah,
know it's rare. It's rare to get one of
yeah,
these nowadays, isn't it?
yeah. We went through.
And honestly,
Yes.
I was gonna say it was pretty boring. It was a pretty boring beginning to the Grand Prix. There was not much going on.
I was talking about the race itself or the weekend.
No. Sorry, I meant the practices, the beforehand. There wasn't too much. The main thing that we saw from this Grand Prix in the practices was that Mercedes weren't as quick as you'd expect normal Mercedes to be.
Yes, definitely their weakest weekend so far. They haven't really looked comfortable in the car, both of the drivers struggling with balance and so on. Uh, yeah, it really looked like a bogey track for them, for Mercedes. And next up, we have a fairly similar track in some areas to the Hungarian one, but obviously we had the entire summer break and a couple of upgrades for a couple of teams. So we could see a big change in pecking order again, as we saw in the
The
last time in Hungary.
and the only other big thing was we saw Aston Martin looked mildly quick. That was the biggest news of the weekend to everyone because a lot of people thought Mercedes were going to struggle in this track. I don't know why. But big ups to the people who actually know how F1 cars work. But yeah, most people had already had an inkling of a feeling that Mercedes were going to be a little slow. What people were, there'd been talks that they were going to bring all these upgrades to here and so on and so forth. But we've seen teams do that before. But yeah, they were actually relatively quick, and by that I mean Fernando Alonso was relatively quick.
Yes, that was like the perfect description that we saw. Aston Martin being mildly quick. Oh gosh, but yeah, it is the first time we've seen them like this season to be anywhere near the midfield, and it was mainly Fernando Alonso in qualifying, especially getting to Q2 for the first time. Uh,
Indeed.
yeah, we'll obviously get to that thing down there, right? So, yeah, very interesting weekend in some areas, but overall, yeah, it was kind of average. But qualifying, right? We get to the predictions themselves. Um, we were kind of expecting Ferrari to be the favorite, with obviously McLaren's and Mercedes being fairly quick in practice as well. Red Bull not being that far behind based on the data, but then the qualifying was pretty much dominated by Lando Norris, which was
It
fairly
was
unexpected.
crazy.
He looked the quickest by a margin, apart from like from everyone else, pretty much, including his teammate, who was consistently a couple of times behind. In the end, it was
Yeah.
like half a second almost between them in the last Q3 runs. I believe Piastri didn't have this last run, or maybe something happened. I think it was impeded by Lewis. That was why the penalty was given for the race. So yeah, that's actually remember
Yes,
something.
indeed.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
McLaren was the quickest car in quali, with Ferrari second. Very rarely do we see Mercedes being challenged in qualifying trim, and this time they were beaten, and they were not only beaten by one but two teams. And it's
Almost free.
yeah, like it was very close, but still, Mercedes were beaten for the first time in qualifying, regular qualifying, excluding the sprints, for the first time this season. So yeah, interesting in
Yeah,
that part.
we'll get to talk about him a bit more, but Norris really looked like and he has done at points this season. You know, I'm thinking about the Miami sprint, Miami in general. He was pretty solid throughout. In Spain, I thought he was really good. All things considered, with his third place, granted that was gifted to him, but you know, at points he does look like he is a world champion because he is. He's the reigning world champion. Um, but you know, I think sometimes it's given Mercedes dominance, it's difficult to remember that. But he does sometimes. I'll be honest. Sometimes he's looked even better than he did all last season.
Yeah,
So you know, and I think he definitely did with this race and the epic qualifying he did, where he just about beat Hamilton in the final Q3, which of course didn't end up mattering because Hamilton got in. I believe it was Isaac Hadjal's way, but I can't remember. And then yeah, we had that finish.
yeah. It was still very close. It was like 12 thousandths of a second, so extremely close margins, like we
Yeah.
were used to in Hungary. Like in the last 5 or so years, we've had the pole decided by less than half a tenth of a second, which is a bit crazy, crazy fact, crazy statistic that I hope will stay, as we obviously Hungary's here to stay as a track. And qualifying on this track are very interesting as always. Kind of like Monaco with the walls, you know, the entire
Yes.
gimmick is also translated into qualifying way. It's very, very close and very tight. Yeah, Lando Norris on pole position. Fairly unexpected going to this weekend, but throughout the weekend, Lando looked just rapid. Basically, had issues at the start of the weekend with the McLaren had to figure out the setup. They brought the Macarena wing and all of those other upgrades, so it was new for them. But they nailed it. They got pole, and yeah, the speed of Lando Norris in the race stream was even more ominous compared to the rest of the grid. So yeah, I'll get to that later. Rest of the qualifying order is Lewis Hamilton P2 and Charles Leclerc P3. So Ferrari 2-3. Get 0 points from that.
Right.
P4 was Antonelli. Very surprisingly, actually putting his Mercedes far higher than you could say throughout the qualifying. Like that lap was very good. It was also, I think, there's also something happened to Antonelli, right?
Well,
In
I'll get
qualifying.
if you keep going through, I'll get to them.
Yeah, I don't exactly remember what happened to Antonelli in
Don't worry, I
qualifying.
remember.
I remember what happened to George, but not Antonelli. So, yeah.
Well, if we get to the end of the count, then I can
okay.
I can say what happened.
All right. So I'll just read down the order. Oscar Piastri P5. So no points from qualifying for either of us. Then it's Max Verstappen, George Russell, Isaac Hadjar, Aaron Lindblad, and Nico Hulkenberg rounding out the top 10. Rest of the drivers: Lawson, Gasly, Colapinto, Bortoleto, Ocon, Alonso, Behrman, Sainz, Albon, Stroll, Bottas, and Perez in P22. So go on.
Well, Max Verstappen crashed at the end of qualifying, if you remember,
Oh, okay.
in Span,
Yes.
which meant Antonelli ended up getting a speeding penalty for his last lap. He was going too quick. He actually got it. He was slower in the sector, I believe, but he actually went quicker where the crash was, which is pretty nuts. And because of all this, and you know Hamilton's penalty as well. Antonelli started seventh, and Hamilton started fifth, which put Max Verstappen up in third. Sorry, up in fourth, and Oscar in third. So yeah, a little bit of a crazy end to qualify. The only other thing to note, of course, was that Alonso managed to make Q2.
Yes. Thanks for reminding me of the Max Verstappen spin in the last turn.
Yes,
I have no idea how did I forget that, but now I remember. Yeah,
he crashes so much in qualifying this
yeah,
season.
like
You know,
it's something that was almost unheard of when Max made a mistake, but now they're kind of common. And I don't know how much can you attribute it to the car when it's happening so often, right? Like if
I think it's a little car. It's a little car. It's a little rage.
yeah, right. Like when if it imagine it would happen only to Hajar and not Max. I don't think people would
Yeah.
make these excuses that it's only the car, right? They would just say it's the second nerdable season and whatever. But yeah, it's happening to Max now, and it's more common than we're used to. Well, way more common. Yeah, this honestly looks like a driver error at this point. Obviously, he always says the car is shit, and he says that even when it gets pole position at this point. It's Max Verstappen, as we know him. Yeah, and one thing we have to mention, obviously, is George Russell, who had the water leak or whatever, something broke in his car in his second run, and then he ended up breaking down at the end of the straight after qualifying ended. So another technical issue for George Russell, his like 78th technical issue in the season already. Very unlucky, but I mean, we're kind of used to it, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they apparently fixed the entire thing, like with the battery, but now another fake in his car broke. So, like, yeah. Overall, he wasn't quicker than Antonelli. They were very close. They're like 1 to 2 tenths separated between them throughout the weekend, pretty much. But it wasn't like George was quicker than Antonelli after the fix. But we don't know every detail from behind the scenes. It's very difficult to analyze objectively because these cars are kind of like RNG sometimes. So, yeah. Okay. Qualifying. That was it from qualifying. We can move over to the race results.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, it was a hectic start to the Grand Prix, where, of course, Piastri, who started third, managed to come into turn one in the lead.
It wasn't
turn one in the lead.
Was
it not?
He was P2 after turn one. He got through Leclerc, right? But then he overtook Lando into turn 2, or I believe so. Yeah, another Oscar starting masterclass. So, yeah.
Yeah, and across the field there was basically bunching up in that first few laps. A chaotic first few laps, but then the Grand Prix did seem to sort of find its footing, and it did look to be like it was going to be a boring one for a while. Everyone was very content where they were. But yeah, and then it sparked into life.
Yeah, it started it.
Basically, Piastri ended up retiring.
That's.
But before that, I forgot. Before that, basically, Norris was making a bunch of like, "Oh, I want to be ahead. I want to make sure that I'm ahead." So on and so forth. And he ended up basically pitting first to cover Hamilton. It looked like he was going to be behind, but then Piastri manages to cut. Well, it's not his fault at all. Piastri basically came up to a bunch of back markers, and the back markers got in Piastri's way. In particular, Carlos Sainz, who literally hit Piastri. And then his race is screwed basically after that.
Yeah, I was a little confused as why would you say backmark curses in plural as it was a single
Well, there
backmarker
was no, there was one.
at fault.
Sykes was battling someone.
He was battling like someone like Alonso, hey, for like P16. It didn't matter. It was either blue flags. He had the blue flags for like 15 turns. So it was something ridiculous that they showed on the internet, right? But yeah, he just simply didn't look at the blue flags. Crashed out the net race leader, who could have won the race if it wasn't for the mechanical failure later on. But like that, what happened, right? Okay, forgetting all like context. Imagine it was two random drivers. If I wasn't biased at that point, it was a race leader and was backmarker battling for random place behind the points, way behind the points. He's being shown the blue flag for almost the entire lap, and he ignores the blue flags, simply ignores them, and then turns into the race leader and gets a 5-second time penalty. A 5-second time penalty. People are getting 10 seconds for exceeding the pit lane speed limiter by 0.01 kilometers per hour. And this is 5 seconds. This literally changed the entire race, and it's 5-second time penalty. I have no idea whether they're smoting in the FIA, but that was ridiculous. Like that pissed me off. When I watched that, I was like, I almost quit the race. Like that was so bad. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm not like super mad about Carlos Sainz himself. Like every driver can make a mistake. But the thing that he said post race that it didn't concern him, that he didn't make a mistake or whatever, that was even more worse. I don't specifically hate drivers, but I don't like when drivers are afraid to take responsibility for something so stupid. It was so blatantly stupid what he did. He was blaming Piastri at the press conference. I'm out.
This is something I've been talking about for a few weeks now, right? That I've sort of hinted, and you know how angry I was, right, when it happened as well.
Yeah.
We were messaging, and I was also furious that this has happened. That the entire season, the blue flag structure for this year just doesn't work. The blue flag structure basically is still the same as it was, where it's it's a bit they're slow to put them up. They take their time to figure it out. It just doesn't work because in this season, the cars at the front are so much quicker than the cars at the back. So you have to warn the back markers that the front cars are coming, especially in tracks like this, because it takes forever for these blue flags to come out, and then they just can't get out of the way, and they take ages to get out of the way because they're fighting as well. And there just needs to be so much more strictness on it. Because it is mental to me, absolutely mental, that they aren't throwing it out quicker.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking trash about the FIA, deservingly, right, for years now. It's either that, either this, either that. There are so many issues with their decision making over the years. There's so many of them. It's like you cannot even focus on a single problem. There are so many. And
it's little issues that do affect, right? This affected a race, right? Last year, you could argue some of their decision making affected the championship. If Max doesn't get the penalty, and he did deserve the penalty, but when he hits Russell in the Spanish Grand Prix, he wins the championship. And it's all the way back to Abu Dhabi, and not just that race, right? That whole season was a mess of weird decisions they made. Whether it be, should they have given Hamilton a bigger penalty in Silverstone? Should they have given Max penalties in Brazil? This, that, and the other. That they make to make the race more entertaining that just doesn't make sense. And then just stupid errors like this as well that do not make any sense. They need to adapt to the new rules. They just weren't adapting at all. And it's not they don't have to deal with it, but Piastri's had to deal with it. It could have been why his car retired in the end. A little hit can cause these issues. And yeah, they just and the president will never leave. He's literally made himself basically a god in the sport that can't be got rid of, and that's just it's corruption. It is finest, and you see it in football, and you see the fact that football fans have really basically gathered around and tried to get Infantino out, and they can't. They're still struggling to do that, and across the World Cup there were so many issues, but even more, the same happens with F1, and just no one's blinking an eye.
Yeah. Yeah, like I mentioned, the worst thing is that the person in charge, MPS for short, that dude literally made himself the dictator of F1. Like, he basically made the rule that he can choose himself as the next president after his term ends, and that basically means that he has no opposition. There's no Democrats, right? There's just him choosing whether he wants to continue being like whatever he's doing at a point. I have no idea like what his job actually like. What his job description actually is. Like, it always seems like he's just there as a basket, like randomly popping into selfies and into random photographs. Like, he wants to be everywhere, like involved in everything, but he's just so irrelevant. Like, no one cares about him. No driver, no media, just no one. And he's just always there, randomly spawning in photographs. Like, I have no idea what that dude does, but yeah, it must be paid well, I guess. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. We both agree it's utter ridiculousness. But yeah, he ended up retiring anyway. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like that was the nail in the coffin. Also for me. Like after I saw that, I saw that penalty, and then it just he just stopped on the track. Like yeah, whatever, man.
Did you stop watching, right?
I stood up from my couch. I went to the kitchen. I had drunk like 1.5 liters or whatever I had in my bottle. I hesitated to whether I want to go like see the rest. Right, but I'm still an F1 fan. I have a podcast with my good friends. So I gotta watch the entire thing, even if it's a lot of pain. And I did it. I watched the entire race still. Despite seeing Pia DNF at the bottom next to Cadillacs, who broke down in fire as they usually do. Cadillacs are just there currently. Yeah.
It's true that they've been screwed by the resurgence of Aston Martin.
Okay, Lando is P1.
Yes.
Yeah, no points. P2, Max Verstappen.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, the other crazy thing that happened was at the end of the race, I think it was Piastri retiring, brought out a safety car, and basically that meant everyone went and pitted and changed their tyres and did this, that, and the other. And yeah, there's a bunch of craziness with that as well, where Lewis Hamilton was racing Kimi Antonelli on new tyres. Max Verstappen was getting away ahead of them because of, again, traffic that was just getting in the way. It screwed George Russell and Antonelli. Antonelli did well to keep hold of his third place, and even in the back of the field, we were seeing the Audis and the Racing Bulls all fighting for those last point playing positions, and we saw Lance Stroll somehow beat Alonso, which just is utterly confusing considering the rest of the weekend.
Actually, look at the data, and from this season specifically, Lance Stroll has been quicker than Fernando Alonso over the race distance, like race train.
That is nuts.
This is like kind of going under the radar because Astons are always like fighting their car itself. Like they're not even fighting each other. They try to stay on track. Now they've got pace. We're actually seeing Lance Stroll in P13. It looks weird, but yeah, actually Lance Stroll has been doing well in the races. Not as much in qualifying. Obviously, Fernando Alonso has been destroying him ever since they were teammates. It has to be said that Lance does well in the races still. So,
Yes.
yeah.
He's we dog on him, but he has something, right? He isn't Mazepin.
Yeah, it's no
He
Mazepin.
isn't
Yeah,
he isn't even I'm trying to think of the Williams driver that was awful.
Latifi, Sargent.
Latifi, Sargent, yeah. I actually don't think Sargent was that bad. I think Latifi was terrible,
I
even
think
though he's the GOAT. But
Sargent
like
was
Matt,
actually worse than Latifi, data wise.
yeah,
And
maybe you're right.
Latifi
Actually, you're probably
Latifi
right.
actually had some good performances, especially in the rain.
But yeah, Mazepin, the terrible Williams driver, Lance Stroll isn't that. He is a competent driver. He's just no one likes him in the F1 grid, and he's rich, so most people outside of the F1 grid don't like him either.
Yeah, he's just driving there because his father wants to. Probably, I don't really feel any enthusiasm from him. It just looks like he's there to be
Yeah,
there.
he
And,
doesn't seem happy himself, to be honest, does he?
yeah. So, the rest of the grid. So P2 Max Verstappen, that was a very surprising P2, I would say.
Yeah, did well. Good work from the Red Bull crew not to pit him.
Yeah,
It was the right decision.
that was a very good strategic race from the Red Bull crew. It was helped by penalties, grid penalties, and a certain DNF, but P2 nonetheless, very good performance from Max. P3, Kimi. Also, I have no idea how they get there. Ferrari's kind of was screwed by the team, but also you would expect Ferrari to be quick at least in the races, but they seem to fall behind every time they're deemed
Hamilton got
as
another
competitive.
penalty in the race. I'm pretty sure he got another
it was
penalty for
speeding the pit
speeding
lane.
in the pit lane by like 0.1 mile an hour. It's freaking nuts out here, which means he has like a total of 5 penalties over 4 weekends. Um, but and then I think it's just bad calls. Leclerc just seems to struggle. He did so well at Silverstone, but then they seem to revert back to, he does well at the start. He's up there. He's qualified well. Oh, and now he's back down into the pack and slower than Hamilton. Like that happens so many races. So yeah, bit strange.
Yeah, Ferrari's running out the top 5. No points for either of us for the race as well. Yes, it's 0-0-0 so far. HR P6, a solid race. I mean, another top 6 finish, like 11th in a row. Like he's in some kind of a ridiculous streak that's gonna unfortunately end in Zandvoort as he broke his hand.
Yes,
so I think we'll talk about for the predictions for Dutch Grand Prix. But a solid performance nonetheless. George Russell had a very good recovery drive. He overtook many cars that wasn't shown on the live TV. It's a kind of an issue in the race as well, and ended up finishing P7 because that's pretty much what he could do. He could fight Hajar, but the strategy also wasn't great. The timing of the safety cars for the Mercedes drivers, and overall of just so unlucky for George Russell this weekend. Again and again, it's almost like he has more unlucky weekends than normal weekends.
Yeah, I think that's true. I did before the Grand Prix talk about him needing to step up, and the main thing he's got relatively lucky that Antonelli's slow. He's got unlucky that Antonelli still managed to get a podium, but yeah, he really needs to step up now. He needs to get his ass in gear going into this.
The issue that I was talking about, it was the start, there was some kind of a issue with the clutch or whatever. The team, team made the statement that it was their fault, so it was not George Russell's fault, like many had
That is
thought. So yeah, another technical issue for George Russell. At the start, he dropped to pretty much last place and made up his way to P7. So, imagine what you would expect from a top 4 driver, like a top 14 driver in this case. Then the rest of the points, Lawson, Hulkenberg for the points for the first time, and Arvid running on the top 10. Bortoleto, Gasly, Stroll ahead of Alonso, Colapinto, Ocon, the Williamses, Ollie Behrman last of the finishers, and
yeah, crazy.
the DNFs of someone and the Cadillac. So yeah. So we can get into extra categories, I guess. Driver of the weekend, Lando Norris.
Yeah, Lando Norris. Yeah,
Has to
phenomenal.
Has to be Lando. Okay, garage of the weekend. I don't know. Aston, maybe. Like technically,
I think he's
improved. Like it's.
You could, I think Aston have made such a huge improvement. I was going for very easy points with this prediction.
Yeah.
The other one you could mention is McLaren.
I mean, no, they DNF'd with one car. That's
yeah, that is their fault. You're right. No, good point. That is their fault. Okay, yeah, Aston Martin. Let's go for it. I'll get a point. I don't mind.
Piastri still should have finished P2, right? Like if it wasn't for
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So okay, blunder of the weekend for a driver. I think I could argue for Ollie Behrman. That was his worst weekend in a while, and
I agree.
He had no pace compared to Ocon, both the quali and the race. Finished last of the finishers. Behind the Williamses. Williams is like we're struggling to even like race. Like that was such a trouble car, and they finished behind them somehow. I think got a penalty as well for ignoring blue flags. I may be wrong, but.
I completely agree. Yeah. The other person we should mention is Mr. Blue Flags himself, Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, for sure. He's out qualified Alex, but yeah, the race performance was horrible.
Well, he'll get the demolition award, won't he?
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah. But bias aside, it's Ollie Behrman for me. So,
yeah, no, I agree. I'm happy with that. Yeah. Happy for you to get a point.
Definitely not George. Like you can judge his weekend based on his technical issues in both qualifying and the race. Like it's
yeah, I agree.
Ferrari of the weekend, Racing Bulls and Ferrari. I mean, both of those teams scored double points. They didn't particularly maximize their weekends for either team, and no Ferrari. Like they haven't blundered as a team. I think Cadillac takes this.
Ferrari have done a lot worse, so yeah, we'll give it Cadillac.
I mean, Cadillac, they were actually on fire the entire weekend. They couldn't finish the race because they were catching on fire with their brakes. So it's worse than bad. Like for Cadillac, they're meant to like finish down the order, right? Like towards the last places. But they've
lost their pals, which is probably going to be a bit morally or mentally taxing on them for a bit. And obviously they fired their team principal since. So yeah, I'm willing to go Cadillac.
Okay. Fastest lap goes to Charles Leclerc.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Demolition Award, yeah, this goes to Carlos Sainz, who did something very, very naughty in the race. Yeah. I mean, no one crashed really, right? Max spun out, but that's about it. Like, yeah, I don't think there was a crash during the weekend. If I'm being honest.
No, me neither. Not a major one, at least.
Was there a non-major one?
Well, I'd say it depends on your definition of crash. I would say that Piastri and Sainz crashed. They just didn't crash out.
I mean, it wasn't a crash. Crash.
Yeah, it was
During
a
the
crash.
weekend. Okay. Okay, good. So it's 1-1. Family Bowl prediction. Yeah, Russell Hamilton, Antonelli on the podium. Antonelli was correct. The other two weren't. So, yeah, 0
I'll
points.
take that. Yeah, it's a shame.
McLaren 1-2 in the Grand Prix.
You could have had this.
Oh man, yeah, that would be such a prediction. Like even if Piastri would have finished P2, I would still take this relatively happily. But no, it's even here. It's even more. I could have had 3 points from it, but you know, things never really go my way in terms of sports. Extra ball prediction. I'll also Q2, so we get 3 points for extra ball prediction.
My first extra ball prediction ever. I'm pretty sure.
It's ever? Right. Oh.
I think it might be. I can't lie. I don't remember ever getting an extra ball prediction.
That's right, because we had the actual prediction for 10 points previously, and now it's 3. But yeah, this may be the first time we've gotten the actual prediction. So yeah, good job. Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, so Hajar podium? No, not really. I mean P6, not even close. Extra ball prediction. Alonso points 4 places away. There was a massive crash in front, maybe, but
It's gonna Stroll.
imagine like 3 cars with DNF and it was a Stroll beatdown.
He finished fine, Stroll. Yeah, I'd be fuming. But bear in mind, to be fair, I would win our bet, which is Aston Martin will get another points this season.
Oh, that's right.
If you remember from Monaco.
Wait. I forgot about that. That's like...
Yeah, you forgot about that, didn't you?
I thought I wait.
I think you bet 10 points that wouldn't happen.
Oh, yeah. You're getting 10 points if it happens. That's...
And, yeah, they suddenly look pretty... They look like they could do it, don't they? Suddenly.
Yeah, luckily I've got still some kind of a lead. It's not a huge one, but... Oh, man. I gotta actually lock it now. this is 10 points I'm losing soon. Oh, man.
So, yeah, that was big. And then...
yeah, I don't want to talk about my extractable prediction, rather, right?
Let's move on to the driver ratings then.
I think I'm cursing my drivers at extra ball prediction mostly.
It wouldn't shock me if you were.
Yeah, when I had like Hülkenberg points in there or somewhere like in a kind of way, DDNF in Spain from points. I will not put any of my drivers in extra ball prediction anymore. Starting from now. So, yeah, that's the predictions. You win 4-1. So results after Hungary before the summer break: 37-34. Sagan. So
close.
It's closing up, and yeah, I gotta prepare for the 10 point swing from Michael Massey. That's orchestrated, right?
Yeah, it's ready. We're ready for it.
Okay, so we still gotta do the driver ratings.
We're gonna speed through them.
Yeah, for sure. So I think I started last time, so we can go for it.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go for Perez 2 and Bottas 2.
I think you can go through our entire ratings and then I'll go through my order.
Okay. Jesus. Okay. Oh gosh. I'm gonna go for a Lance Stroll, a cheeky little 6, and also Alonso 6. So it's not anything crazy. For Sainz, I'm gonna penalise him for that crash. I'm gonna give him a 2, and Albon a 3. Just because again we both agree it was egregious. Lawson, who was still in the slower car. If you remember, Lawson and Lindblad got a quicker car upgrade than Lindblad. Rawson, who was in the Sire car, managed to beat Lindblad, so he's going to get a nice little 7, despite it not being a too big of a victory. And Lindblad's going to get 6. Gasly and Colapinto. I don't think Colapinto did very well. I'm going to give him a 3. I'm going to give Gasly like a 5. I know they were both outside of points. Bortoletto and Hulkenberg both did pretty solidly. Hulkenberg managed to get points, which I know he'll be happy about. 7 and let's make that 5 rather than a 6. Ocon absolutely just not having it this weekend. But finally better than his teammate. So I'm going to give him like a 4 and a 2. Just not exactly loving their performances recently. I'm going to give Max a solid 8 and Hajar 6. Hamilton's going to get... Oh, wait, it's Norris. Norris gets a 10 and... difficult to rate Piastri, isn't it? I'm gonna give him a 9. Yeah,
You can continue.
yeah, I think I'll give him a 9. I'm gonna give Leclerc a 7 and Hamilton, who again has double points penalties this weekend, a 5. And then Antonelli's going to get something like I don't want to give them too high a score because they get quite high scores anyway. I'm going to give Antonelli a 7 and Russell, as you say, it's not his fault, but I'm still going to give him a 5.
Okay.
Any absolute stinkers there from me?
I think it's fine mostly.
I usually have one big stinker that we argue about for about 5 minutes.
I think it's okay. I mean, given some drivers like rating like 2 points higher, but oh yeah, I'll do mine and you'll see what I mean. So Cadillacs, Bottas are qualifying Perez by over half a second, or it was a huge margin around that. And both DNF'd because of kart issues in the race. It's not really easy to rate them, so it gives them 6-3, I guess. Alonso got qualified. Stroll again. Stroll outraced him. They get a similar 6, I guess, for me as well. Alex Albon, I mean, he beat someone in the race, and I got qualified again. Kind of a boring 3, I guess. Lindblad gets 6, I guess, and then lost an 8. Colapinto. I mean, Alpines, I haven't really seen them during this weekend much. Really rate them objectively. So they're gonna get 7 out of 5.
Minus 99.
Gabriel Bortoletto gets
pass me by.
it's a 3.5. And Hulkenberg gets a 9. I haven't really talked about this much, but the gap between the Audi drivers was huge this weekend, in terms of pace. And Bartoletto finished. I mean, he finished P11, but
they finished. It wasn't that far apart.
It was actually quite.
It was like 10 seconds. I swear, less.
Anyways, Ollie Behrman had a horrible weekend. It's a 2, and August Ocon had a okay 5. Isaac Hadjar. Isaac Hadjar gets a solid 6, and Max Verstappen gets a 9. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris gets a 10. Oscar Piastri, yeah, it's an 8. Clerk Hamilton, I guess both a 7, and Russell Antonelli 5 and a 6. So yeah, this looks quite okay, I think. Any objections? Any stinkers, like you said?
swear Bortoletto was like a few seconds behind
Okay, I'll give him a
Hulkenberg.
4 if you really like. But then
I
I'll give
swear to
Hulkenberg the
you.
decimal so you can look at the decimal and not be
No,
happy about
you
it.
freaking you! We just as an offside story, we do ratings in meetings in my company. We have a meeting that's basically all of sales and all of marketing. I'm part of marketing, and at the end of these meetings, you have to rate them. And usually it's fine. You have to rate them 1 to 10, like normal, and you basically say why. And yeah, the one this week for the first time, someone went, "Oh yeah, I'm going to rate it a 7.5." I was so peed off. Oh my god.
W random coworker.
Freaking, she is one of my favorites, favorite coworkers. She's my favorite salesperson. So, yeah, I was furious.
Yeah, I don't know what's your problem with decimals. If you like people who use decimals, all right.
That's the most
Look,
freaking
there's only
decimal.
one this time, right? Actually,
Yeah,
I can make it two if you really want to. uh,
I don't mind -99. I don't mind. It's gonna
I,
make your
I think it will scramble the stats a little.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna make your driver ratings at the end of the year really confusing to you. But
yeah. I think he would average out in the negatives, which would look really strange, but it would be funny as well. Anyways, these are our driver ratings for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Thank you so much for watching, listening. Any interaction is much appreciated, and we'll see you next time in the Dutch Grand Prix predictions. Peace.
yes, peace.